Another week of pro cycling greatness. A gloriously fast edition of the Ronde van Vlaanderen that brought us a rainbow double. Plus, there was that big midweek effort. This week on the Gruppetto, we'll get straight to it with the Flemish Classics.
As tradition dictates, the very best lined up for the start of Flanders' finest, the 14th Sunday of the year being a date that's always marked out on the calendar by cycling fans worldwide. After the festivities of the start and the breakaway being established, a crash saw Mathieu van der Poel aiming to win for a record fourth time, and a few of his challenger Tadej Pogacar's teammates in trouble, as well as seeing a few abandons, notably that of John Degenkolb a week before his favoured Paris-Roubaix. Van der Poel had helpers to quickly refine the bunch as the race really began.
56 kilometers to go. Tadej Pogacar moves. This is cycling at its very best. It is Pogacar, it is Van der Poel, and we are starting to see gaps. It's Pogacar winding it up, and everybody else now has to follow. This man is about to lay down the law. Pogacar, Van der Poel, and then there's the gap.
He is a true Flandrian.
Tadej Pogacar, dressed in his Sunday best, breaking his rivals. He'll celebrate again. Tadej Pogacar returns to Flanders. Yet again, beats the cobble specialists at their own game. He will now ride on to Roubaix.
There was a crash on the big road. I think also Matthew was crashed there, and we lost Johnny there. We lost Tim there, and Florian as well, but Florian somehow he was chasing back, I think, all the race, or more or less, and made it just in time to lead out on the Quaremont. So yeah, chapeau to him. We never gave up, you know. All of the riders keep coming back. Miguel, Antonio, everybody, all the teammates were coming back, and they went over themselves to do the plan, and yeah, even with setbacks, they did it perfectly.
The rest tried everything, but they just couldn't stay with him. There was no anti-Pog formula here, just rivals stumbling around, trying not to drop to the canvas after Pogacar had tried to land blow after blow. Now, is he the greatest of all time? He's certainly getting there, isn't he? And that debate is going to intensify. Next up, there's a race that can perhaps cement it. Tadej Pogacar, can he go and win Roubaix? Can he win the game of stones? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Defending champion Elisa Longo-Borghini was one of several riders who could take the outright record for the number of wins in the women's race. That was due to finish later in the afternoon. Aiming for a third win, the Italian champion suffered a nasty crash, however, and was out of the race. Marty now picks up the rest of the race story, where local support was for the world champion Lotte Kopecky, who was another of the candidates to become a record breaker.
Kopecky on the front for Primoz, Lippert on the back. Lotte Kopecky now opens up the sprint. Liana Lippert launches the move from the back. Kopecky has the front. Is Kopecky going to do the hat-trick? Kopecky powers clear. It is going to be boom, boom, Belgium yet again. Kopecky takes the third victory. Shows us the guns at the line. Lotte Kopecky, Belgian hearts sing yet again.
I didn't have the best legs in the beginning, but yeah, I tried to stay calm, and I knew that after a few climbs my legs felt better and better, and then I know that in the end I have a pretty good shot. So once we were with the four of us, I was pretty confident actually.
The story of the early week was one of shock and surprise at Dwars of Vlaanderen.
That comes in a moment, as there was no surprise to see Elisa Longo-Borghini doing the business in Waregem. The Italian champion conquered the 7 hills and other cobbled roads of the Flemish Ardennes to finish alone outside the Rainbow Stadium, celebrating a special milestone, a 50th career win for one of the best of her generation. World champion Kopecky won the sprint for second. In the men's race, Visma-Lease bike were in an aggressive mood and ripped apart the race in a manner that had us thinking back to the classics of a couple of years ago, when at times they resembled a Mappe tribute band. After having fired a warning shot earlier in the race, the Killer Bees put the whole team to work at the base of Bergtenaut, and the results were spectacular.
Visma-Lease bike on the attack all together and leaving everybody in their wake. This is Bergtenata approaching, 71 kilometres still to go in the race that they won last year. And here, even before we get to the real business end, they are lighting this up and teaching everybody behind a lesson. 3 kilometres remain in this 79th Dwars Tour of Vlaanderen. Tiesj Benoot is at the front after a team move that was highly impressive. Probably one of the most impressive things we've seen in the spring so far.
3 against 1 in the finale. I wonder where we've seen that before. We're still talking about that particular race, but there was a difference. There didn't seem to be any intent to attack or distance Nielsen Powless. He came to the finish line with Benoot, Jorgensen and Van Aert.
This is the turn, the line is ahead, and Nielsen Powless is ready to be the party pooper behind in the pink. There he is, it's Jorgensen who now peels off. Benoot is doing the leading out, 250 metres to go, now goes to 200, and the sprint has started. On the left you can see that it's Nielsen Powless, and he's gaining as well. Powless is gaining, he's going to do it, Powless has it, Wout van Aert's been beaten, oh my word!
So a first EF Education Easy Post win since late January. Impressive from Powless, who suffered a bout of pneumonia earlier in the year. The reactions from the other side were brutally honest.
We decided to go for the sprint with Wout, and it was the wrong decision. We can be honest about that. We also underestimated Nielsen, so really chapeau to Nielsen, and congrats. That was a great sprint from him.
Yeah, I'm fully responsible for this loss, because it was me that made the call. We would go for a sprint, and I asked Matteo and Tiesj to just control in the final and bring me to the line, because I was confident they could win the sprint, but then in the sprint I cramped completely, and Nielsen Powless turned out to be stronger.
I mentioned that other race where 1 beat 3 in a cobbled classic. Ian Stannard was the man versus quick-step at the Omloop at Nieuwsblad. Let's see how both races look side by side. Here's Adam.
First of all, we'll all remember this, Omloop het Nieuwsblad with quick-step and Ian Stannard. Now this was very different to the Visma situation, which I'm going to show you, but this situation had Ian Stannard, who'd been getting a nice ride off the back of Tom Bonen, greatest classics rider ever, Stijn Vandenberg, who was one of the strongest MXDs, and Nicky Terpstra, one of the most talented riders within a peloton at that time. Won Paris-Roubaix, Flanders, just, yeah, a bit of a ledge. Stannard was also a legend, but he had legs, and very, very good ones. As you can see here on the graphic, Tom Bonen attacked after doing majority of the work with his teammates. Stannard sat on the back, be attacked with 4.6k to go. Stannard then was forced to do the work, and after this, just coming into the final 4 kilometres, Stannard was able to get him back very, very slowly. So once he got him back at this point here, it was game on again. Stannard expecting the attack straight away. Terpstra over the top, and Stijn Vandenberg, this was a questionable manoeuvre, followed him, and that enabled Ian to jump on the back of them. Tom Bonen in this situation now, after being on the attack for a kilometre, legs on fire, legs are burning. And this point here, Ian was able to just get into that slipstream, take a little bit of a breath, never going into that red zone too much, keeping something in the tank. And then here, he went all out on the attack, 2.7Ks to go. Bonen sat on the back. Here, Vandenberg bails. He can't do anything else. Terpstra was able to get on board with him, but distancing Bonen at that time. He just dangled here until the finish line. Coming to the finish, Terpstra let it out thinking he had the best legs, and it was only Ian Stannard was able to get around him, so he dominated that completely. But the major difference between this clip and the Visma clip I'm about to show you, Ian Stannard was just an absolute monster that day. I don't really know where to start with this. This was a major mess up on all terms, I think, from Visma, calling it 10Ks to go, Wout saying he wanted the win, Wout also saying he wanted the other two to control it. That's fine, but you're only controlling one person. For me in this situation here, this was with 2Ks to go. You can see you got the riders on the front, Wout sat third wheel, Jorgensen and Tiesj Benoot here swapping turns. Lord knows why they're swapping turns. They've got a 45-second gap. They don't need to swap turns. They can sit on the front, but just let gaps go. In that instance there, Wout can come back here, sit on the wheel of Powless and just follow him, force him to make those chases. The other two riders, for me, they could have gone on the attack and just not 100% attack, but just enough to string things out, make Jorgensen chase it just to dampen his legs a little bit. So in this situation, I think Wout very, very confident, as he should have been, but they just didn't put enough pressure on Powless. Powless just had the ride of his life going into the finish. And this coming into the last corner still baffles me. Tiesj Benoot could have let the wheel go to Jorgensen. Jorgensen could have been aware of that, and that would have forced Powless to go early and tire his legs even more. At this point, what, 220 metres to go, 210? Wout started his sprint into a headwind. Powless was able to get alongside him. Wout here in his interview after did say he cramped up, but I think it's just, for me, it's exactly not what to do. You know, using your head, using strength in numbers is one thing, but using them just to pure strength without getting any tactical nous involved, it's just a missed opportunity. They could have had maybe 3 on the podium there.
In one-day racing in Spain this week, Thibaut Nys turned up for his first road race of what promises to be a big season. And, of course, he won it. The young Belgian cross-hotshot got the better of Alex Molinari, with his Lidl-Trek teammate Andrea Bajoli finishing on the podium with him. A proposed Ardennes Classic debut in a few weeks looks a very exciting prospect.
Stage racing's back this week with the Julia, the Tour of the Basque Country. Red Bull BORA-hansgrohe will be there, and the man who's looking after their gains this year is Mr. Dan Bigham.
Just right on each Garmin, which they are as well. Okay. Get me to pull them in. Yeah. Today is with Primoz. What we're doing is a huge amount of optimization. So we have clothing, we have helmets, we have a lot of positional stuff, cockpit work. We're really just trying to understand what's sensitive, really. We'll do a lot more testing with Primoz, and it's really understanding where the areas that we can really exploit and maximize benefit, and then coming back and more fine tuning to really dial that in. So the protocol is 3 laps to get up to speed, everything on the black line. So get on the bike, give you a push. You've got a few laps to really build up to get towards that 49k an hour.
And then between black and red or black?
Aim for black. Always aim for black. Just
computer is in danger, huh? I'm not so good like you. I like.
Every lap we're super consistent. So how you hold the bike, how you sit on the bike. So 8 laps in position, 1 lap rest, 8 laps in position, done. He's in a good place. Obviously, he's not a bad time trial. He's Olympic champion. He's done pretty well, but really want to keep moving forward, because if you stand still, you go backwards. Okay, you're going to jump on the bike, and we're going to roll you forward slowly, just to measure the size of the rear tyre.
Then I can go to the toilet for a pee.
You need to go?
No, then after.
We need to just measure you every time you go, so if you do go, just let us know, because it changes your mass. Right, jump on.
You can always sneak in half a day here and there, and I mean, he's still riding pretty hard. Physiologically, he's getting a good session in, he's in position, he's working at a good level, and we can learn a huge amount on the aero side that just keeps him progressing and keeps us learning more as well, so we can keep pushing Specialized and SRAM to bring faster and better equipment.
That's
not a good start.
I'm not time trialist, I'm ski jumper, eh?
49, which is better option now than 50.
Yeah.
Then is 1 gear lighter.
Okay,
or
do that.
Right, is a big fight, I cannot do either than a lighter gear and 50 or a bit less or a bit more.
Okay, we're not just trying to win a GC at the Tour de France or the Giro or the Vuelta. We're trying to ride fast over cobbles. We're trying to sprint at 70+k an hour as efficiently as we can. There's all these different aspects of optimization. I'm not limited, and I quite enjoy having that absolute freedom. It's something that I've relished in every opportunity I've had to date, to be able to do things the way I really want to do them. So yeah, it's scary, but at the same time, super excited and passionate. And to have someone like Johnny alongside me the entire way, he's awesome. A bit yin and yang. We definitely approach things differently, and yeah, we argue and debate, but I think largely performance moves forward because of that. It's hilarious how much he underestimates himself. Like, literally one of the best cyclists in the world. He's like, can't do that.
I cannot ride.
I cannot do this, I cannot do that, I cannot... What can you do? Tell me 3 positive things that you can do well.
Skiing.
Skiing and?
Skiing.
Show what you say. Skiing.
Just skiing. Ski jumping. Yeah, there we go.
So it is a bit more challenging, but we're here to push him, and that's how you learn. You've got to ask those questions and ask them often, and they buy into it once they realise you really do care about their performance, and genuinely we do. Like, we're passionate about it, and I don't think there's a single person in the team that doesn't want to go faster, that doesn't want to win more bike races. And I think they all trust in science, trust in maths, and hopefully we can prove that process works. And the coaches and the DSers all are very keen to have the knowledge, have the data that supports or questions their decisions, their approaches, that I can get involved in all these different projects. So just yesterday we were talking about sprint tactics and sprint lead outs, and also talking about Paris-Roubaix, Cobble Classics, what optimization work do we do there. Genuinely a really enjoyable environment, good guys, good culture, yeah, just having fun. Obviously the pressure's there, but relishing it.
The rocky road to Roubaix is next. A full weekend extravaganza with a women's race on Saturday, the men's on Sunday, and that much-awaited Pogačar debut. The breakaway crew will be here to introduce both races for you, so make an appointment for the entire weekend. Underway today, it's Zulia, the Tour of the Basque Country. On Wednesday, we've got the oldest classic in Flanders, that's Scheldeprijs. All of that live on TNT Sports and Discovery+. And as well as having plenty to watch during the week, we all know that excitement now is building. A famous velodrome, those cobbles, that debut. We'll see you next weekend. Goodbye.
Well, this is hard, honest, historic, dramatic, and of course cobble-filled. Cycling, one of the most beautiful sports in the world, but with what's to come, for many out on the road racing today, it will not feel like that. Welcome to hell.
I've not seen anything like this in a long time.
You're watching the annual unpredictable test of head, heart and legs. Mathieu van der Poel has chosen his moment. He's riding away with this. And it's going to be the double. Van der Poel emerging from hell to ascend to cycling paradise.